Hello and welcome to Coffee Lovers TV. Today we're going to be enjoying this Kenya Windrush AA by Sey Coffee Roasters. Sey is a new coffee roaster. They're based out of Brooklyn, New York. I think they actually just opened up, just started last year. But I ran across them in a little cafe here in Seattle in the back of a Christian bookstore. His Word Found Here. It's in Ballard. The back of that store has a really awesome little cafe. They're doing some great work with coffee. They have had Sey at the times that I visited. I tried it out, and it's really good stuff. I just want to quickly share a little bit about Sey, mostly from their website. Like I said, they're a new coffee roaster, and they're taking the road of focusing a lot on showcasing the natural qualities of the coffee themselves. As they say, they like to let this coffee speak for itself. And they roast it in a way that accentuates all the natural aromatics and distinct flavor profiles unique to each coffee. And they focus on procuring the highest quality fresh crop coffees, and through their efforts to honor the dedication and hard work of the coffee producers. So it's all really good stuff. And just as importantly, their coffee's delicious. So what we have here is their Kenya Windrush AA, and it's it's got a lot of classic Kenya flavors. I've been brewing it for a little bit now and enjoying it, and it's just a really good, tasty, high quality coffee. So we're gonna go ahead and brew it up on the V60. I'm gonna have a smell first because this coffee smells absolutely lovely. I like it. It's got these to me kind of, it's pretty classic Kenya tones to it, like tomato kind of floats in and out, but there's a distinct freshness to the way this smells. Kind of get like fresh plant, fresh fruit. Nothing too like specific, but it's just got a nice like refreshing freshness to it. And just for your edification, because the information's on here, this is a fully washed coffee. It's from the Kiamba County. Varietals are SL28 and SL32. I'll have to do a separate video on varietals at some point, varieties, and talk about varieties like those in Kenya. I've got the tasting notes here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share them. Blackberry, pineapple, and mango. I know that knowing the tasting notes is going to influence what I see, but it'll, the way I look at that is it'll aid me in finding the natural flavors that are in here and describing them and sharing them. I think I would have to push myself to find blackberry, pineapple, and mango on the aroma. I could probably see mango if I think about it, but the aroma to me is more like tomato, like sweet tomato, and like fresh, a little bit of fresh plants on there. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna brew it up on the V60, then we'll come back and have a taste. We're ready. So we've brewed up the Sey on the V60. One thing I noticed while brewing, the aroma coming off of the brew was really strongly of blackberries. And the brew now, aroma, you can really smell the sugars of the coffee, but nothing too distinct. And that's not surprising. Like, we're dealing with a fully washed coffee, so there isn't gonna be one overt flavor. When I say it smells of blackberry, when I say it tastes of blackberry, it's not like how when you have a really fruity coffee and it tastes almost exactly like blueberries or strawberries or something like that. It's a little bit more subtle, and that's why people in the industry talk of notes all the time. This note of blackberry and that sort of thing is I guess it's the most correct or more accurate way to kind of describe what the taste is. Because an actual blackberry fruit is a lot more than just the blackberry sort of essence flavor. It's the blackberry, it's the fruit, it's the sugar in the fruit and that sort of thing. And sugar that's in coffee is similar. Acids that are in coffee are similar, and that's why they can have these very similar tastes. Anyways, I'm gonna go off a little tangent there. Smooth, good level of richness, good level of sweetness. Very little bitterness. The natural bitterness of coffee, of caffeine, to be sure. But when you look past that, which is so easy for me to do naturally now, because I drink just straight up brewed coffee almost exclusively, throwing in some espresso here and there. But that is to say I don't alter my brewed coffee. But this is incredibly smooth, and not having really any bitterness at all. Maybe slight bitterness of brightness. It might be like the pineapple brightness that's kind of in there. And the smoothness maybe is where the mango comes in, and then there's the blackberry dancing around as well. One thing that I have noticed in some brews, and I'm not seeing it right now, is that up front has been, especially when it's hot, when it's right off the brew, is that I'll notice some like tomatoiness right up front, like kind of sweet tomato. And then just as it cools slightly, that'll kind of even out, and then blackberry will really start to appear. One thing I really like about this coffee is that, you know, I share a lot of coffees, and I like to get really enthusiastic about coffees that have really intriguing and fascinating and interesting flavors. There's nothing like, from that perspective, there's nothing fascinating about this. It's just a really high quality, really good Kenyan coffee. And you can find many other Kenyans that are similar. And this is just a really good example of a good high quality Kenyan. I'd say if you're interested in discovering what Kenya coffees can really taste like, especially these varieties, this is a really good example of something to grab. It's really delicious. And kind of more on that comment as well. I think it's a little bit of a trap that I probably run into, and maybe many of us who describe coffee run into, is when you get super enthusiastic about a coffee, like especially the Yemens as of late, which have a completely different, they're unique varieties, and they're grown in unique conditions. They have a lot more natural sugar grown into them just because of the way that they naturally grow. And so their taste is gonna be a lot more sweeter, and I'm gonna tap into taste profiles, notes, and the like that you don't find in other coffees. So it's easy when you come across a coffee that you haven't had before, or a taste in coffee experience that you haven't had before, to just have your mind go, whoa. And my mind really should be going, whoa, with this as well, because this is a really, really good coffee. You compare this against any average coffee, and this is, if you come across this as your first Kenyan, it's probably going to be a pretty eye-opening experience, I think. And that kind of ends up being the reality when you get into drinking really good coffee all the time, when everything is at this level. You drink this and you're just like, yep, that's a really good Kenya. For being a washed, it's got a really good level of sweetness, of like richness to it. I like that. This has been a very enjoyable coffee to drink. Sometimes I'm hit or miss on Kenyan coffees, but I think this one hits the blackberry that I like in Kenya really well. Just a very excellent Kenyan coffee. It's been Sey Coffee Roasters. I'll link to them below, of course. You can still get this Windrush AA. Highly recommend it. It's really tasty. You're gonna enjoy this experience. Makes for a good morning coffee, but also a good sort of like midday, want to think about it more coffee as well. Really nice work from Sey. If you have any questions, of course, leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.